Welcome to the Dice Box and the Fixers, which has been a little bit on hiatus because life is untenable right now for a whole bunch of people for a whole bunch of reasons. But now that we've had a little bit of holiday recoup time, lots of food, lots of sleep, and various amounts of just decompressing and trying to pretend the outside world doesn't exist, we're back and looking at the kind of problem we can actually solve through magic discussion or carefully considered or not so carefully considered, depending on your monk, violence. Yes, you can see he's looking forward to hitting something. If we want to talk, we might want to get ahead of this. I'm just saying. Previously, the trio of very, very long-lived yahoos, some more very than others, have trundled off into the Black Forest with their newest immortal cohort, who's taken the sometimes you get to be able to do stuff to whole new levels. They've gone off to the Black Forest to try to find what is effectively the Ur-Bear, which, if it falls to the currently tainted by nasty version of nasty Germanic version of Odin Wild Hunt, it will be bad. It would be very bad. So they kind of need to have that stop. Ketty asked a passing sparrow for directions. Got some, and after a while of hiking around the place, they wound up in a situation where they were confronted with leave us not split hairs, because I don't have it in me to go through the descriptions through the whole thing again. What you have is effectively a tiefling, an Arakocra, an orc, 2 goblins, and 3 kobolds. At least to look at. Of course, you do... Actually, no. Give me a... give me an intelligence check. Let's see how much you guys remember.
Nine.
Yeah, I think Ketty's just about got it. Yeah, some kids were found dead. Most of them were found missing. And those goblin-looking things and those little bitty bipedal dragon-looking things are awful small. Yeah, a lot of bodies never found. Question being, is there a way to undo this? So currently you have something of a standoff.
How far away are they?
Currently standing about 40 feet.
And I hid, so I'm nowhere to be seen.
When did you do that?
I did that at the end of the session. Like, the last thing that we did was I hid.
Yeah, and there was
do you happen to remember your roll?
22.
My stealth roll with a 22.
Well, it is if you don't automatically clear your chat log, which I always do.
Yeah, I see it too.
Okay. Okay. Well, you think you've hidden anyway. You don't know how effective that has been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're all just staring for the moment.
For the moment, they're taking your measure. Kim, meanwhile, is kind of steps a little bit behind Rafe and is rummaging through effectively her kit bag. She clearly has something that she's planning on doing, but she needs a second.
Rafe is sort of just looking at Ketty, looking at them, looking at Ketty, looking at them, going, I have an intelligence of 6. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the look on his face.
Okay. Ketty takes a half step up, keeps his arms out away from any belts or pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to whichever one seems the most intelligent.
The one that seems the most intelligent is the more devilly looking one. He's also the one who looks closest to human. So it's probably more likely to speak a humanoid language. And he does, in fact, take a step up in turn, also keeping hands away from anything that might be weapons. Well, we weren't expecting this.
Well, I found that fate is more difficult to predict than some think.
And I take it that we're both after the same quarry?
In a sense, though, I am not quite here to hunt, though I am relieved, I suppose, that you have taken to prey more equal than children.
Okay, I feel better about our chances now. Rafe, from behind Rafe, he can just about hear Kim muttering something in he doesn't even know modern Korean, much less very old Korean. So for him, it's just arcane. Is Ketty gonna follow along from that?
Is your craven master not going to show himself?
He's busy. He has better things to hunt than you.
Not so sure about that. Given the bar he attended personally.
He wanted to look to see what he was dealing with. Apparently he wasn't very impressed.
Well, a craven's weapon.
So he got to a position where you could see him, you didn't catch him, and somehow that's cowardly?
From where I come from, yes, but times have changed and, well, he kind of looks around the woods. Times have changed.
And it's around that point when it's mostly Ketty that feels something in the air break. It's like some hum of tension that was around this bunch just kind of shatters. Because one of the things that Kim has managed to pick up in her reading is Dispel Magic. The children are the first to become not beasties anymore. The devil-looking man looks as these kids start shrieking in absolute terror as the Birdman starts shedding feathers and winds up as this kind of gawky and rather unfortunately largely naked college kid, who's, I mean, he's white, but he's clearly not from around here. The orc does not change, but he just looks incredibly fucking confused. And the tiefling looks at Ketty going, "You son of a..." And then he changes into, again, a pretty nondescript individual who now looks incredibly fucking confused. Just like, wait, what was that?
So what did he turn into?
Just a human male, black, going, what the who the fuck are you? Very American accented English. And the kids are still screaming.
Rafe is when the kids with the kids. Rafe he runs over, putting himself as best he can, like between the kids and everybody else, just like walls, just thunk. Just like it's okay.
Yeah, except you do still have an orc who will be taking an attack of opportunity. Funnily enough, and all of a sudden you run directly into a fist.
Okay.
Taking 6 points of bludgeoning damage, which goes away after about a minute, but you know. I mean, the orc has no the fuck idea what's going on at this point either, but he's a lot less menacing looking. But this largish human has just run up, and he's just fist. And you do have Kim going, Rafe, no.
Rafe will take the hit, and because he's just wanting to get to the kids and make sure they're okay, and start trying to like.
Of course, they're confused, they're scared, and there's this very large man running at them.
Exactly. So he's not really. He didn't really think of that.
They are now running away.
Wait. Crap.
Can I
I'll
try and follow the kids from stealth?
You can, but at the same time, keep in mind you have somebody who can use Dimension Door, who is a lot more unassuming than all of the rest of you look. She just looks at Ketty and goes, "You handle this, I'll get them." And puff of purple smoke, she's basically gone.
That solves my concern.
Right. Spins around, looking at the orc,
who's looking at you like the fuck?
Okay, Ketty casts Phantasmal Force on the former Tiefling, and just
Tiefling?
This is a former Tiefling.
Tiefling.
This is a very dense spell, but
This is just one very confused American.
You okay? I don't know why you're casting Phantasmal Force when you could just lie at this individual at this point. But hey, do what you do.
Double checking it before I describe the force. This summons like illusionary roots to grab at him and hold him down. So he has to make an intelligence check.
Okay, what's your spell save DC?
17.
Nope. I mean, at this point, he is completely freaking out. He's gone from, what the fuck did I drink last night, to, ah!
And while that is taken care of, Ketty looks to the orc,
who's still just standing there like, meh. It's clear that whatever physically's been done to him is kind of stuck that way, but he certainly doesn't look interested in attacking any of you anymore. Beyond, this guy is charging me, okay, but now he's not hitting me. Okay. You just sort of get,
Just, we are not here to harm you. friend.
Points at Rafe. Like, huh?
He was trying to protect the children.
Just emphatic nod. Because at this point, Rafe is finally click. Oh, talking should happen. I should shut up. Okay. So, hence the emphatic nod.
But the orc is now giving you this look like personal space. He doesn't have the vocabulary for it, but he's just giving you this look like back up now kind of thing.
Step.
The one that used to be feathered is just sort of going, what the fuck is going on?
You just stay there.
What?
Breathe.
What? God, this is a disaster. the ex-tiefling is still screaming.
Teddy takes a handkerchief from his pocket and gags the illusionarily bound man.
Okay.
Hey, boss, I don't think he knew what he was saying to you. This is from wherever I'm hiding.
And the orc is now perks up looking in general directions for where that voice is coming from, and almost comes very, very close to spotting your hiding space, but is not all that in the brains department, so...
Okay. I'm just thinking of what to do next. You have to think a lot more when you're not just stabbing.
I know, but that's just... Okay. There were a lot of ways to handle this, and this was probably one of the most unfortunate, but okay. The only way this could have been more unfortunate is if you'd been stabbing kobolds.
Kitty looks to the orc again. Do you remember yourself before you were changed?
Huh?
Take that as a no. Going to be a problem.
He just looks up at the orc. What's your name?
Has no response to that.
Kitty looks back to the illusionarily tied up man.
Who is now gagged and still trying to scream through the handkerchief. Because, incredibly confused human now being tied up by tree roots that are moving on their own because of this guy who then stuffed a handkerchief in his mouth.
That is very, very... Leans down a bit, takes his shoulders, just...
Flinches back.
Can we continue our conversation, please? And he takes out the handkerchief.
What? Fuck!
Do you remember what happened to you?
I'm actually kind of hoping nothing did beyond. I mean, I'm assuming that I got something really fucked up in a drink or something. I have no the hell idea, but there was hiking, and then there was some really fucked up hallucinations, and now there's more of them.
Yes, this is unfortunately quite a bad trip you're having. But it's going to be a problem at work. Has Ketty ever seen an orc like that before in terms of how to potentially undo that?
Make me an Arcana check.
Oh,
Honestly, if that kind of dispel magic couldn't do it, there's the possibility of trying something a bit more harder core in the realm of curse breaking, but you generally need a different kind of magic for that. In D&D terms, you need greater restoration, even as a possibility, but it's entirely likely that somebody was fucked up enough to have killed this guy and kind of reincarnated him as this. So it's possible, it's in fact entirely probable, that the soul of a human individual is now in this orc, and there's nothing you can do about it. Unless you have the power to kill him and reincarnate him, and even then, the mechanisms for that are still kind of random, and you don't know what you'd get. Honestly, you were lucky with the transformations of the other ones. But all things considered, while you've heard legends about beings like this who, in packs, tend to be on the violent conquesty side, generally on their own, they're just, I hunt, I eat, I basically stay away from this because this is stupid. Ironically. Honestly, if you give him a whole bunch of forest to roam around in, he's probably going to be fine.
Rafe, let him pass.
And stomps off into the forest.
Looks back to the man.
Be free.
Do you know the name Thomas Jensen?
I know a Tom, kind of. I mean, the last thing I remember, we were drinking with him.
Very well. He dismisses the illusion.
Okay, I know this is a really bad trip, but you're probably the most lucid hallucination I've ever seen. Where the fuck are we, and how do we get back to civilization?
You're in the middle of the Black Forest. Stuttgart is that way.
Looks down at his state of moderate disability and then over at his friend and just going, well, shit. And for lack of anything better to do, he walks off in the direction of sort of going, come on. And this individual is sort of, looks around at him and goes, do we have any idea what the fuck is going on? I'm not even gonna try. I just want some pants, okay? I really just want some pants. Yeah, likewise. And then off they stumble.
Ketty looks around for Kim and the kids.
Well, they'd actually got a reasonable distance, but if you sort of trundle a little ways in that general direction, you will see Kim just sort of going, I know this is really, really scary, but we are going to try to get you home to your parents as soon as we can. In fairly good German, she's good at that kind of thing. And then as Ketty is approaching, she looks up and goes, "Oh, oh, good. There's somebody who's not me. I'm not always the best at talking to people, but at least they've stopped crying."
Rafe stays like a ways away, trying to look small, but he's still beef. That's impossible.
She does point in Rafe's general direction and goes, "Don't worry. He's American. They're like that."
He's really just a big teddy bear.
Again, with the emphatic nodding, shutting up.
And it sort of looks at Ketty. "Mister, where are we?"
You're in the forest, and we will.
And they give you this, well, duh look.
We are going to make sure you are returned to your parents.
Work for the bad man, do you?
We are here to make sure he doesn't do any of this again.
Okay, good. Because I didn't like him.
What do you remember about him?
Well, didn't look all that different from your teddy man. Darker hair, a little less beef. And meaner. Also less. His brain cell wasn't lonely. His brain cell is lonely.
Yes, it is.
I know what you're referencing. Thank you.
He had a place. I don't know if it's far from here or not. The fuzzy for a little while, but there was blood and squishy things, and not everybody was like us.
I understand.
I'm wondering if you do, but yeah. Just looking at him like, is there anything else you want to know? Because I have a feeling we don't get to go home unless we can, until the talking is done. Do you have any further questions for these kids?
Mm-hmm.
Kim just goes, "This place that the bad man had, can you point us in the direction it's in?" Then all 5 of them just point. Sort of, okay. Now, are you going to be okay if the teddy man sits with you for a moment? Is he gonna get smashy? No. Okay. Once I just need to have a conversation with the beard man here, and then we'll see how we deal with getting you home, which we will very definitely do. There's just some logistics. There's things we need to do. It's okay. And gestures Rafe to these kids who are looking up at him like,
sits down away from him and then scoots over. Like doing his best to literally approach them at their level, but even sitting down, he's still so it's still kind of scoot. Hi.
Guten Tag.
We're gonna keep you safe and make sure you get home. Sorry I scared you. I didn't mean to. I wanted to make sure you were okay.
You're big.
Yeah.
One of the older ones, who's probably about 8, in fairly struggling English. What do they feed you in America?
Rafe just grins and goes, "A lot."
Meanwhile, Kim is going over to Ketty and just sort of goes, on the one hand, we cannot convince them that this was some kind of drug-induced hallucination. On the other hand, their parents aren't going to believe them anyway. But then there's us.
Well, we won't be here much longer.
No, but they can describe us.
Yes, but the management, they already know that we're here, and we've been about the town. Our names and faces are about. The words of children are to authorities less than credible, and won't be given much further thought.
Enough. We're going to have to be careful about collecting what things we left in the last safe house, but I think we can manage that. I know that we're probably on a clock here, but we can't just leave them here.
Of course, I would thought the current logistical issue was who was going to bring them back to the edge of the forest.
Honestly, I'd go with Rafe for 2 reasons. Number 1, if anything does try to take them back, he's probably the best place to do something about it. And number 2, he can actually run faster to get to us, which is another thing. There's actually a point 3. We should probably look at this Jensen man's base of operations.
I agree.
So he's wonderful, but he wouldn't be much good in that kind of investigative situation. So this gives him something to do instead of feeling like he's not being useful.
Well thought.
Do you want to give him his assignment while I try to coax Suyin out of a bush?
I'm sure that shouldn't be too hard for you.
I am not flashing her cleavage. And walks off in the last direction she heard Suyin from. You can come out now.
And out or down from wherever I wound up, I appear.
Well, we have a potentially magic-filled base of operations.
Fun. I'm hoping at least the locks are still relatively normal. I don't want them to explode in my face.
If I can turn Birdman, Devilman, and little bitty monstrosities back into humans, I can probably undo any kind of magical lock on a door.
You're the best.
I'm in the top 10 anyway. And meanwhile, Ketty moves over to Rafe and the kids.
Looks to the kids.
They're still looking at him.
He looks up at the boss pretty well, probably with the same expected expression on his face that the kids probably have.
Well, the kids have more wary. They're still.
Fair.
I have no the fuck idea what's going on right now. But at least these people don't have like knives or blood or scary shit.
Would you like to help escort my friend here back to the edge of the forest, where the police should be able to help you return to your families?
They look at him and going, I guess he shouldn't be allowed to go out unsupervised. Okay.
Thank you.
But we get to go home after that?
Yes. Once Rafe and you find someone, you can call the authorities. I'm sure they'll be very swiftly contacting your parents.
They're not going to believe us, are they?
No, they are not, but that is the nature of some adventures.
I don't tell them things if they're not going to believe us.
It would be wise to keep these details to yourselves.
Simple. Keep it simple.
And you're going to make sure the bad men don't do anything else.
Yes.
So maybe we just say we don't remember?
I'm sure your parents will be too relieved to be asking many questions.
One of the older ones is going, parents maybe, police not so much. But
Smart.
I guess people forget things when they're scared, so. Thank you, Mr. Musical Instrument Man.
You're quite welcome. Wraith, you can follow our trail back into the forest once you're done there.
I know where to go.
And
yeah, he'll get up and kind of he'll be like there's like what, 4 or 5
5.
5 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you want, I could probably carry some of you.
They're not really up for that.
No. Okay. Okay. Looks at the old. Figures out. Okay. The biggest one is like. Okay. Boss, should I go first and have them follow, or should I have them go first and follow them? I'm trying to figure this out.
Ketty, he's the one who I can actually follow a track worth a damn. Why would he be letting them lead? It will probably occur to Rafe when he says you should go first, going, wait, they wouldn't be able to follow the trail like I can.
Yeah. Okay. So which one of you is oldest?
The kid who was the kid who talked about, the police are going to ask a lot of questions.
Okay. You follow behind and keep everybody stay together and follow me. I'll go slow and we'll get you to the edge of the forest. Sound like a plan?
Okay. They look a little dubious that you actually came up with a plan, but it'll do until something better comes along. If something better comes along, which is probably not going to, because they are traumatized kids who've largely in pajamas, out in the middle of the forest. So.
And that's the other reason Rafe is going to go first. He's not trying to make a lot of noise, but he's also making a point of stepping heavy to try to stomp down any debris or whatnot or anything they might step on, or just to try to make it a little easier on them.
So
and off they go.
Yeah, that'll take some time, particularly at this pace. Some of them are, one of them is probably like 5. They basically range in age from like 5 to 9, and that there's a certain amount of pootling around. And make me a stealth check.
All of 6.
Yeah, you do not get out of range of the individual who spots you guys before somebody is pointing a flashlight at you. But what are you going to do with this? Hold it right there!
And quickly step to the side and just kind of go, found him!
Yeah, the kids at that point sort of rush up and make enough noise that if Rafe wants to, Yes. Meanwhile, Ketty, Suyin, and Kim are heading in the direction the kids indicated and come across. And it's a surprisingly well put together little log hut in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And in some senses, you almost expect it to have chicken feet. But it doesn't, that you can tell anyway. They might be folded, you don't know. But, if... I'm sorry, it's a little hut in the middle of the forest. The brain immediately goes to Baba Yaga.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim is just like, okay. I wouldn't even know where to begin looking for an arcane thing on this lock. I'm gonna need more of a minute, but I'm gonna take a walk around the perimeter and see what's going on. Why am I doing this? So again, take a turn around the property, check windows stealthily as you can, make sure there's no one in there when we're trying to break in.
And here we go. And I'm going to immediately attempt to just sort of vanish from view by stealth ducking.
Stealth away.
14.
I'm looking at your fucking modifier.
Yeah, consider that means I rolled a 2.
Yes. I mean, it's you're annoyed with you because you're a lot more used to urban or desert or less fallen crunching leaf than this. Because there's just forest debris everywhere.
Not want repeat of the tea fiasco.
Give me a perception check as you're peering into windows around the property. And pray this is better.
15.
Well, it's certainly dark in there. There's maybe a glow that looks like it's a well-banked fire from a fireplace, but because it's dark in there, the windows are kind of grotty, and you're not getting a whole lot of light in, again, because small, grotty windows. And no fire. You're not really seeing anything in there, but the main thing you're not seeing, which is the predominant thing you were looking for, is movement. Nothing's moving in there. There's no indication that anyone is still inside, because somebody inside would be moving. Even a little bit. But beyond that, the shadows kind of indicate furniture, but yeah, that's about all you're getting at the moment. There's no fine detail to be had at all.
And I'm going to pull back and head back over.
Anything?
Doesn't seem to be anyone living in there. No movement.
Well, nobody in there at the moment. There was probably someone living in there because furniture.
Well, no, what I mean is nobody who is currently in a state of alive living.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, that makes sense. There must be a better way to verbally differentiate that, but we'll leave that aside for now.
Yeah, outside of that, all I could see was vague furniture-shaped blobs.
Ketty steps up to the door and casts Detect Magic.
That's a 30-foot, so there's no magic on the door lock, but there's definite magical residue inside. There's a whole lot of transmutation. There is more than a little necromancy. There's some, and there's the kind of things that you'd see in tracking spells, significant curse type situations. There's they're not active in the place, but that kind of thing has been cast in there. Not even just recently, but it's pervasive. The entire place. It's like the magic is stuck in the walls, or the residue thereof. Someone's been casting curse shit in there for a very long time.
Suyin.
And I'm going to head up to the door, break out lock futzing tools, and get to work.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a surprisingly modern lock for an old log cabin, and from the looks of the door and everything set into the frame, that's been replaced. That lock mechanism has been replaced several times as lock technology has improved. So, by all means.
18.
It's more work than you would have expected for a log cabin lock, but you get it open. And the first thing that hits you is the reek of blood.
Oh,
Both
that's
new and both recently spilled, and there's some corpse reek in there.
Great. At least it's not mixed with water rot. I'll pull open the door.
Yeah,
The other two to get in.
The light you're getting into the place, the first thing it lands on is what was probably at one point a kitchen table. You can only hope that it isn't still the kitchen table, because there are the remains of a dismembered child on it. And unfortunately, this kid is so torn apart, but weirdly methodically torn apart, but still not enough to really get so much as features. Anybody who wants to identify this kid, they can't even do it with teeth, because some of this ones have been pulled. It's going to have to be DNA analysis.
Can Ketty do an arcana to determine why he was cut up? What spell was that?
I mean, you're welcome to roll an arcana check, and I wasn't entirely done with what you saw, but I can add that if your arcana is good enough. So we'll go from there. It's another fucking 2. You're gonna need a minute, because even for you, for however long you've lived, the sheer fucking atrocity that is on this is just, you just know. You're gonna need a minute. You've got enough modern sensibility, and to be fair, even in your day, somebody doing this to a kid who couldn't have been more than 6 years old is a bit much. And Kim, for her part, has apparently gone into, I am now compartmentalizing my freakouts now, and going, oh, okay, there's some, yeah, you probably will want to look at this when you've had a bit to breathe, because a lot of this is slightly bastardized Norse runes. It's not so much trying to be a spell, but consecrating, or, not to put too fine a point on it, desecrating what are probably spell components. I mean, blood is always useful, as are teeth. Various of the organs, I suppose, but that seems a little excessive. I'm going to have a look through and see what other components they have, maybe between us, if I can identify what I might use as components and cross-reference that with what I know you use as spell components, and maybe we can put it together and figure out what this individual has at their disposal. I don't know if there's enough left to speak to. If I find anything a bit more intact, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Kim.
It effectively starts going through the rest of the small hut. Meanwhile, Suyin gets the quote unquote treat of seeing Ketty as shaken as she's ever seen him. Is she going to say or do anything at this point?
I'm gonna need a minute.
You're also going to need a minute. Oh, this is great. We've got this one person who can actually compartmentalize their freak out. It's going to take you a little while to get there and back again. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna just step into the door, look out into the forest for a bit. Oh, right. Okay. Then I'm going to turn back in and need me to look for anything?
It would take too long to prefer a list of some of the things that I'm looking for. I suppose I hate to say it, but bodies. I mean, there's some. I mean, there are some chests and things along the walls, and there's. Given that there is an actual corpse reek, there must be an older corpse in there somewhere. Anything that looks to you like ritual tools, if it's not, I'll let you know, or Ketty will. Anything that looks hinky, but as much as I hate to say it, really we'd like to find a body. If we're going to get any kind of indication of what's going on here, we can put together clues until the cows come home, but this is the point at which we have to ask the dead.
Rightio.
Or that's my opinion anyway.
And I'm going to go poking around at these chests and see how many of them I can pop open lockwise.
Yeah. Investigation check for anyone who's digging.
Ketty's still looking at the body for the moment.
Good wolf.
Kim can't bring herself to do. Sorry, Suyin can't bring herself to do this. At this point, it's just like I can't.
Because I'm just like sort of down on one knee in front of a chest and just stopped.
Given the amount of time this is freaking taking, and how much speed a monk can get at Rafe's level, he does turn up a while later and finds these two basically frozen, and Kim rifling through drawers in this thing. But then, of course, he registers the body and realizes why these two have frozen, and vaguely remembers Kim has her freak-out pocket.
Yep. Oddly enough, sees the body. His face kind of gets a holy crap look, and then he just kind of and goes on and moves in to the cabin. Basically similar thing to when when y'all woke up in the bomb and he realized little girl was dead. It was like, and in that moment, there's sweet fuck all he can do about it. All he's got to do is move and take care of business. So that's what he's done.
Yeah. But the problem is he doesn't yet know what
exactly. So that's why he's going straight to Kim.
Saying shit.
He's going to find Kim, and just kind of go like trying to stay out of her way, but also boss is
You're going to need to get them moving.
Right.
I am a little busy. Sorry.
Nope. That's what I needed. Thank you. And goes back to Ketty and walks up to him and just very large hand, light on the shoulder. Boss, they kind of shake just a little. Boss, sorry, I know it's a lot, but we got to do.
Thank you, Rafe.
Okay.
Ketty.
And of course, there's Suyin, who's still.
So okay, and goes much the same with Suyin, although having to lean down a lot. Just Suyin, are you okay?
Been better, just been better.
Focus on the front. Keep it simple.
It's what I'm trying to do, and it wasn't working until just now. Right,
okay, try it again.
Step back.
Both of you.
Really? Come on, dice.
She can't. She just literally cannot.
Ketty casts enhance ability on himself. Advantage on intelligence.
Okay.
So I'll do the investigation.
You guys are fucking hopeless.
Wow.
We apparently just can't. Apparently, it's just seeing bad rolls and just deciding to continue this trend.
Meanwhile, Kim gets a nat 20 on the whole goddamn thing. So eventually, she's just kind of elbowing you guys aside and going, "When I need you, I'll call. Okay, please stand outside."
Rafe just goes
Rafe?
outside.
No, and Rafe is like, "Rafe, can you get them outside?"
Yeah, and just gently for Rafe, kind of escorts the two of you out of the door and out of the way.
Unfortunately, Kim being Kim, she's not exactly au fait with lockpicks, but a screwdriver and a fair bit of determination will do in a pinch with a couple of those chests. So Suyin is probably feeling kind of shit when she hears ow. And after a little while of this, she steps out and goes, "Okay, I have a list of things that we can cross-reference and check through after we've dealt with a bit more first-person perspective on matters, but I found 3 bodies. They're less eviscerated than that one, but 2 of them were caught in various stages of transformation, and I think that's what killed them. One looks still human, but Getty, you're going to have a problem with this one, I think, more so than the others. There are some wounds on the body that fall very specifically into your situation. Missing an eye, spear wound in the side, ligature marks around the neck. That child was a sacrifice.
I see. He was invoking Wotan, I would imagine.
I don't know if it's possible invoking or seeking blessing power. I'm not. That's not my. Either you'd have to. ask whatever force you ask, or you'd have to ask them. Her, actually. But, I'm gonna compile my list while having my freak out, if that's okay?
The 3 bodies, they're all children. I worry they won't have much understanding of what happened to them, even if I called their spirits.
Okay, one thing Ketty does know is that, when it comes down to you speak with dead, the age of the soul doesn't matter as much when they're dead.
Okay.
They might have a less evolved vocabulary, but the dead are kind of ageless, is what he's effectively found. So that won't be as much of a problem. You know, at the absolute worst, he can ask what they saw and try to put it together from there. You know, what they saw, what they heard, but that's all the kind of thing that you can take our break time, which is about coming up, but I don't mind chugging it up a little early for you to think about what kind of questions you might want to ask, because there's obviously a limit of 5 questions on Speak with Dead, and these 2 aren't going to be of any help to you. You might get some assistance out of Kim, depending on how well I roll on that, and you know whether or not you actually need the help. Because she'd rather just have her freak out, if that's okay with everybody, but she'll step up if she has to. And but in the meantime, just have a think about what kinds of questions, and honestly, which of the 3 are you going to ask the sacrifice to Wotan, or are you going to try the other 2, or some combination thereof? It depends on your spell slots. I haven't really studied the whole situation. And from there, you've got other information, because somebody is a lot more on the ball at investigation shit than you guys are. And so we'll leave it at, Suyin taking deep breaths, probably with a big comforting Rafe hand on shoulder, because it's about all she can do, and Ketty probably going off and saying if any assistance can come from Hugin and Munin on what the fuck I'm supposed to ask this kid. And we'll see you in about 5 minutes, when hopefully we have some game plan going forward. And we're back in the field base, for lack of a better term, of a particularly unpleasant individual who's apparently been sacrificing and otherwise eviscerating, among other things, small children for various ritualistic purposes and harvesting spell ingredients and a whole bunch of that kind of thing. These 2, Suyin and Ketty, are not coping overly well, but they were surprisingly helped by the appearance of their big cuddly teddy bear and the no-nonsense I will freak out later. I have a scheduled time for freaking out, and that means I can work now attitude of their youngest little helper. And she has a list of spells and things that she is compiling while quietly hyperventilating. And she'll obviously stomp it back if she has to. But meantime, it's a matter of whether Ketty is going to be thinking up questions on his own, asking for help, or a little of both.
First thing Ketty does is take another few steps away from the cabin and look up to the treetops and say the words to invoke the ravens.
This time he actually gets ravens. So you guys hear and on one on each shoulder.
What?
He looks surprisingly It's regal is probably about the only word that Rafe can actually come up with. With this just for all his hipster looks, it does not look like a hipster with that look on his face and the ravens on his shoulders. He looks far beyond.
What is the purpose of the sacrifice who bears the wounds of my father?
Power, intent, guidance. I believe you only get the one.
You only get the one.
And at which point, off they fly.
Watches them go.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear you heard him talk in Ancient Norse, but the answer wasn't audible at all. You assume he got one from the expression, but
Rafe was deliberately not looking because that's like boss doing boss stuff, and he's like, "That's not for me." Mm-mm.
Steps back and looks to Kim, and I'll give her another minute if need be.
Just looks up. It just hands him her notebook, and there's an awful lot of list on there. Some of it's very esoteric and kind of grisly and horrible, and some of it looks like rather overzealous cook's grocery list, and some of it she's actually put down chemical compositions and in brackets, kind of oak ash kind of thing. It's like she's been trying to pick apart the specific chemical compound that's needed in this kind of situation, but that was clearly a coping mechanism.
I'm going to speak with the sacrifice.
I will go along as recording device. One thing I never mentioned is even before all this, I have one of those memories.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not going to vomit. This is something.
You're a fast learner.
I don't really have time to worry about that. It won't help my stomach any to be rid of breakfast, so why bother? You two might want to keep an eye out just in case he feels the need to come back. I don't know if he knows that one of his hunting parties, he may have more than one, sounds like he had more than one, is still out there, but somebody might come back. And we're gonna need time.
I can make another loop of the perimeter at least.
I can man the door.
Okay.
And I'm going to stealth away to go do perimeter things.
How obvious do we want it to be that the location is compromised? If he does come back.
We don't have a lot of options at this point. There's not that much we can hide.
I didn't think so, but I wanted to ask.
And not give you room to work, because the only way you wouldn't be seen is to be inside.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'll be outside.
And besides, we're gonna need a little bit of light in here, so that'll probably get noticed.
Right.
If you draw him out, then so be it.
Okay. I'll be outside. I'll yell something.
This would not surprise me in the least.
22 this time.
Yeah, Suyin has by this point entirely vanished. Okay, over to you.
Kitty goes to the correct corpse and draws the runes, says the words.
And after a moment, air fills up the little body. And make me a persuasion check. It's a kid, it's enough. I just wanted to see how likely it would be that this kid would actually give you anything but the basics. Because, still, while wiser perhaps than they were in life, still, that was a horrible thing that happened to them. Anyway.
Kitty leans down and waits a moment. What do you remember of the moments before your death?
Words I didn't understand. Not entirely. But he was asking something. It was like prayer, but wrong. There were a lot of hand gestures. I think they meant aid in tracking strength beyond a continuation of undying. And then I wasn't seeing very much at all.
Did anyone speak back to him?
No one I saw, but there was a voice.
Did you understand what the voice said?
More understood the questions. I'm keeping count of the questions, and unfortunately, you've kind of got to be pretty specific in these.
Kitty looks to Kim.
What if she understood? Ask what the voice said.
Oh, I think I missed that one. What did the voice say?
Said yes. Said something about the primal heart of the forest and its guardian. Takes it into himself, then the power of this place will be his. One more. Kim nudges Ketty. If we're gonna know what we're dealing with, ask to describe his companions, any that she saw.
Can you describe any companions that were with the man?
Some were my friends until they weren't. There were some that were people and then weren't. They didn't last very long. There was other things. It was following him. It was big and white and spiny. And it was supposed to track. It looked too smart to be an animal, but it wasn't a person either. And that's the end of it. And at that the last air in that little body just
Go in peace. He has a think about a large, white, spiny creature.
Arcana check. Nice. Yeah, your enhance ability still works. Whatever this is. I mean, this is not from your pantheon. Let's start with that.
Okay.
But it's probably could be technically, but you didn't really have a name for it. It's one of those things that was supposed to turn up at Ragnarok. You've heard other traditions speak of it as a bone devil. It's not from around here. It can be summoned. It is hugely unpleasant, not overly intelligent, but, it's generally speaking really good for, murdering things and setting weaker devils to actually do work. So if you've got, say, a bunch of transformed humans or lower level things that you want hunting for you, one of those to crack the whip. So theoretically, you could probably solve a hell of a lot of your problem just by taking this thing out and losing the main control on any other hunting parties in the area before trying to take down Mr. Man.
Kitty waves him along and goes back outside.
Yeah, she's perfectly happy to be out. Okay, that didn't entirely make sense to me, that last bit. But it looked like it made sense to you.
It's a creature called a bone devil. It's
an insalubrious kind of name.
It's the force that's guiding the lesser creatures, the transformed victims. Without it to drive them onwards, they'll have much less chance of finding the bear spirit.
Something. Oh, I suppose it might know then if some of its workmen maybe aren't working anymore.
It is likely that it will find us before we find it, which will make that part easier, at least. You did the right thing by dispelling the curses.
Oh, I figured they were probably kids, and I was clearly right. Then glances over at Rafe and sort of scans the area for Suyin to see if they've actually heard any of this, and if they're actually Suyin, since she's doing a perimeter check, make me a perception check. And pray you do better than you have been so far.
Not by much.
No, it's you try for trees because stepping on forest floor is problematic, so that's why you've been so stealthy. You've been in trees. Mostly what you've been encountering is squirrel. One of them decided that it liked you and is currently sitting on your head.
Well, little buddy, did you see anything freaky here besides a giant bear the size of God?
It's just sitting on your head. Although Suyin saying that it will occur to Suyin that if she actually wants an answer from this fucking squirrel.
Well, let's see. Do I have any things that could be like a nut or various foods on me still?
I don't see why not.
I'm just going to produce one and offer that to the little shit.
Munch, getting crumbs in your hair.
And while munching is happening, I'm going to be headed back.
Yeah, so this
With
one,
squirrel.
yes, this one slides out of the shadows with a squirrel on her head.
Hey, look, I made a friend. And also a potential information source.
Perhaps.
I mean, I certainly can't ask if this little one has seen anything beyond a bear the size of God.
Yes, very well. Yeti will take a minute, and I remember at this time, so he'll cast Speak with Animals as a ritual.
Awesome. So yeah, this instead of his speedier work, this one takes about 10 minutes. So, and Kim with her keen mind memory thing is watching, taking notes. And after the protracted ritual, Speak with Animals is invoked.
Looks down at the squirrel.
Well,
fishes at it.
Not so much down, because still sitting on Suryan's head has not moved.
Takes a bit of trail mix. Offers it to the squirrel.
This is my lucky day. It's always good when there's humans. Humans always leave food everywhere, but they don't normally hand it to me. Munch.
We're happy to make a friend.
What's in it for you?
Could you tell us if you've seen a large white creature, a dangerous predator?
Gonna have to be more specific, because to me, you are technically large white predator. Except you're more kind of pink. I don't know why you always say it's white, but never mind.
He describes what a bone devil looks like more clearly.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you noticed the forest had been a little bit quieter than most forests are? That's because it likes wandering around this kind of area.
Yes, it's searching for something.
Well, last I heard from anybody in the immediate area, it kind of was eating a couple of humans without so much in the way of wary fur. Yeah, there are consequences to having let those two just wander off on their own.
Mm.
It looked angry, but I mean, it always looks angry, but it looked even more angry. And then started doing a tracking kind of thing.
Where did you last see it?
Points a little paw in the direction you guys came from. You'll want to make me a perception check.
Yeah. See, Rafe isn't understanding. Obviously, can't understand any of this, but sees the little good point and looks.
Yeah, Ketty is focused on the squirrel right now.
9.
Oh my
God.
9.
5.
Yeah, Kim is making notes. You guys are all focused on the squirrel, which is why you guys only notice that anything is upon you in any way, shape, or form at all when surprise attack round happens, and given the general proximities to things, people, etc. Because Suyen's having to be kind of in the middle of this whole situation because,
Squirrel on
squirrel, and Ketty is sort of nearby to there, and actually let's position some people. And actually, first of all, let's take out Fog of War. I'm recycling some maps here, guys.
Oh boy.
That's cool. Yeah, someone remembers those. You just had bad luck in that map, that's all.
Okay, so we have Suyen kind of... Why are you doing this to me? Why is she that big?
Oh yeah. They've changed it so that if you move an image, it stays at image size until DM resizes.
Okay, well, I can do that. There we go. Okay, and Ketty would be kind of there.
Mostly to make it easier for people to use imported images to craft maps.
Oh, I see. Well, I always make my maps sort of outside, but Rafe would be kind of there-ish. So shrink him to there, and he's kind of giving Boss some space. And Kim, meanwhile, blink. I see hers is, and she's kind of watching from that kind of vicinity, and so she's closer to the edge of the tree line. And of course, she is also the one who broke the curse in the first place, so this makes a certain amount of sense. So this is going to hurt, probably. Yeah, ow. That's 1. Oh, Jesus, why?
How many nat 20s?
1, but the others were a 15 and a 16 on Kim, who's, let me double check her stats here.
Whose AC is not great.
Not so much, no, because, I mean, her dex isn't that bad, but her dex isn't that great either, and nobody ever actually put her in anything that even remotely resembles body armor, so let's roll some damage here. Yeah, because that's a +8 to hit, and ow. So that's, okay, 1d8 plus 4 is... I hate you so much. So that's 11.
Welcome to Bone Devils.
Thank God that the crit rolled low. So, actually, no, that's because it's double the dice, but it's still rolled low. That's 5, 9. Sting. That's 2d8 plus 4, so that's 10. 13. Plus 5d6 poison damage. Fuck me. And DC 14 saving throw. Okay, well, at least she's not poison, though that wouldn't last very long for this bunch. Anyway, point being that the point you all look as this thing jumps out of the trees and basically eviscerates Kim because her HP is not that much.
Squishy wizard is squishy.
Yeah, so basically, this thing, which I'll now need to find a critter for. Fuck it, I'm just gonna use the blue Abishai. Didn't mean it to be directly on top of her, so I'll have it be directly behind her. That'll do. That will do. So, yeah, kind of lands on her, reduces her to kind of sludge, and this is a surprise round, guys, so, if you all would like to roll me some initiative.
10.
19.
Also 19.
Okay,
Hi.
so let's make us some notes here. Oh, and that actually makes a certain amount of sense. So that's Kitty.
Christ, I went and looked up what these things look like, and it's like the world's angriest, most roided out dragonfly.
They're pretty hideous, yes. I've thrown these at you before, actually.
Just
Deadlands, if memory serves me correctly.
Yep, just not with the exact associated image that I've tripped over. Good God, because
okay. Honestly, I'm gonna pick the one who rolled first and go in alphabetical. So, Ketty, you're up first. This thing has just turned your wizard into an interestingly shaped smear, and is now hissing at you all.
Okay, so 1 second.
Ow.
Okay, Ketty cast Sacred Flame in it. Or that.
And
okay,
its
yeah.
dex is... Oh, come on! I forget. Is Sacred Flame save or suck?
It's save or suck.
Yeah. Ty goes to Defender. It manages to avoid this bullshit. Bonus action?
Bardic Inspiration on Wraith.
Okay. I won't make you do it.
It says, "Strike true, brave son of the South."
Okay. I didn't make you do it, but apparently guilted you into it. Okay, fine. Surian.
Okay. I am going to spin around. As I'm doing so, sort of scoop and yeet the squirrel towards the nearest tree.
Goodbye!
Gonna pull. Let's see which of my weapons would I have just been carting on me at the time.
Guns and daggers. And probably a sword. You would have brought your weapons.
Yep, just trying to determine which one would be where on me or if it's in the packs. Oh, I'll just pull sword.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and use panache on it. I'm gonna have to make a declaration as I do so, but I'm gonna post this up so you see it and understand what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, how about you fight someone who can Uli, how about you come here and fight somebody who you're not ambushing?
Okay, so roll me a persuasion check.
There it is. Nat 20.
Nice. Okay, yeah. This thing is Oh. There's a problem. And the two of you must share a language.
Can it understand common?
No.
Ah, well. So it's just gargling, hissing, and generally being angry.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Technically it has telepathy, but it has to work to do that. This is not and telepathy doesn't connect with an actual persuasion check because it sees what's going on in your head and you can't bring your panache to bear. When it's kind of like trying to charm Lyra. Trying to charm something that can only communicate with telepathy. It's like, I'm seeing what you're trying to do. Fuck off.
Yeah. Some archetypes can manage, like a bard or one of the other weird fae-ish things might be able to do that, but I certainly can't because I'm neither.
Yeah, so it's more interested in Ketty at this point, so you might want to just actually attack things.
Fuck it. And I'm going to just haul ass around it.
So where do you want to end up?
Well, if it's basically on top of her, I'm going to see if I can't get behind it right about there.
5, 10, 15, 20, 20, yep.
Just dash around it and try and shank this thing.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Sard. Why is it not letting me? Sard. That is a 17.
Plus 19. Your sword goes clank off one of these spines. You do get a second attack. You're not a caster class anymore.
Mm-hmm. Aren't you annoying?
Okay, roll damage.
Let's see if we can find a soft spot.
Yeah, you get a leakage of something a little bit more oozy at this point.
Yeah, this shortened ass butterfly sword just sinks.
Yeah, which means you're in wonderful position for this thing to whip around and start clawing on you. Misses once. Ooh, that's gonna hit. So that's 1d8 plus 4. So that's 8 points of slashing damage. And then the tail
Can I uncanny dodge that? Can I uncanny dodge the tail?
You can. Remind me how that works. We haven't had a rogue do that before because the rogues we've had have never really actually been of a level that they had it. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, what's your AC for a start?
My AC is 17, so.
Oh well. Even without the +8 to hit, that's because it was Ty goes to defender, so you would have you probably would have made it if it didn't have a +8 because I rolled a natural 17. Okay, so the sting is. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Plus. Sorry, so that was 15. 25, 26. 30. Before we do the halving, make me a Constitution save.
13.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
given how your metabolisms work, you're poisoned for the next round. Which means you will be at disadvantage for the next round, but you will have shaken it off after that. And you have taken 15 points of combined piercing, slashing, and poison damage. Rafe.
Okay. Well, I will use my 50 feet of movement. I'm going to charge from. Okay, this right here is a big old stump, right?
Yep. Well, you can get around Ketty and move to like here.
Is there space right there? Right there?
Space right where? There is, yeah.
Because what I want to do, actually, okay, yeah, I'll go with my original plan. I want to get around Ketty. I want to come down here. I'm going to charge, and I want to charge at it, grapple it, attempting to basically bull rush, grab, slam into that big, huge, massive stump there, and try to hold it.
Okay. Hang on. Let me double check something.
So were you doing shove?
Mm-hmm. I just want to see if I can do it.
No, he's doing a grapple check.
Yes.
So that's athletics, contested by either the target's athletics or their acrobatics. So if you would like to, please make me an athletics check.
Oy, only 12. I rolled a 4.
Yeah, no.
Onward.
Actually, you know what? Given that you've just attempted to bull rush and tackle something with that many fucking spines, you take 7 points of piercing damage in the attempt.
Okay.
Do you have a bonus action?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and I'll, since that didn't work, I'm going to spend a key point and disengage, backing away a couple of a space from it, like right to there.
To there?
Yeah, just
But
backing
that's-
away so I can stop, and go. Okay, that didn't work. Crap.
Also, ow, because that's still gonna ow at you. Okay,
Exactly,
and that
so.
leaves Kim. And this is not this thing's home dimension. What am I rolling against here? Okay. Come on, Purple Peril, don't fail me now. Kim desperately dragging air into her currently reinflating lungs, chucks some level of powder at it, yells something in very old Korean, which Ketty is the only one old enough to recognize as some kind of ancient Korean banishment rite, which is effectively a fuck off ghost kind of thing. And this thing just gone.
Wow.
Give it a minute. If it doesn't come back within a minute, it's gonna have to stay gone.
Oh boy.
Well done,
In
Kim.
which case, Rafe will step forward, occupying, standing here, because he's okay. If it's okay, wait. So it's gone for a minute. It may come back. And it comes back in the same spot.
Yes.
Ooh, good. Step, step, step. He's just like, he's waiting for it. He's like this, just sword in hand, sword in one hand, fist in the, just raised in the other. He's just waiting for it, because if that thing poops back, he's wham! So he's just standing there looking at thin air, looking like an idiot, but he don't care.
Well, funnily enough, and I'm sorry, you're still going to have to go on your initiative or rolls because I'm not fucking doing it again. This thing also rolled a fucking nat 20. So clearly something wanted it back. So, Ketty, it's now your go as this thing rematerializes and Kim demonstrates some admirable Korean swear words as she's trying desperately to patch herself back together.
Teddy goes to the Sacred Flame again.
And dex save. Oh, come on. That was a natural 19. I didn't even have to look. I mean, this thing's dex saves are kind of nuts anyway. I mean, to be fair, its saving throws for dex aren't as great as int, wisdom, and charisma, but it manages to dodge that too. And Kim is like, glad I'm on the floor, glad I'm on the floor, glad I'm on the floor.
Inspiration on Kim.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yen?
Well, now I have flanking. Now I get sneak attacks. In addition to advantage on being able to stab this thing. Well, time for Shiv. 23.
Roll damage.
And sneak it. Just double checking what my sneak attack damage is at this level. Sorry, I'm gonna have to briefly pull up and.
You want me to Google it? It will make your life easier if you don't have to Alt-Tab.
Fair enough.
Column of the rogue table. Okay, so what? Oh. Sneak attack damage, and your guys are at level 10?
Yep.
5d6.
Whoo!
This
I
thing,
found the bit.
this thing shrieks. However, as pissed off as it is at you, it really doesn't like the one that sent it home very much. But, funnily enough, misses.
I still have an extra attack.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
21
Roll
this
damage.
time. And this is just flat damage.
Yep. It's still more pissed off at then, so I'm going to have to do the rolls all over again. Still misses. That one does not miss. Oh my god, it's a nat 20 on the fucking tail. You know what? I'm not even bothering with damage. It's just splat. Thankfully,
Just
she
keep
has.
rolling around.
Thankfully, it has until. Thankfully, she has like enough time to get a little bit of air and patching up back done. It doesn't entirely seem to understand that you guys don't permanently fucking die. Safe.
Right. It's getting a unarmed attack to the face. Because of the way I was standing, I wouldn't have done. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Given everything. Yeah. That's so unarmed strike to the face. 23.
Roll damage.
Boop.
6. And then the other hand with the short sword just stunk. 25.
Roll damage.
And we're I want to spend a key point as well, causing that to be get an extra D10. Excuse me, D10 damage. Or should I have done that before I?
You should have, yes,
Okay.
because you are supposed to expend that before you know whether it succeeded.
My bad. Okay. Then in that case, never mind. 10.
Okay.
Bonus action. I will go ahead and spend a key point and do flurry of blows. That's 2.
Okay.
So 2 unarmed strikes.
Round attacks. Yep, but I know that much from first.
Right. Okay. So 1. Nat 20.
Roll damage.
That's 6 and 27.
Roll damage.
5.
Okay. She got. Yeah, Milady is kind of done fucking around at this point. Milady doesn't actually have to roll anything, because Milady is going to be casting Magic Missile at 5th level. Because Milady's done with this shit.
Damn!
So let's see, that's 3 glowing darts plus 5, 6, 7, so that's 5, 10, 12. Oh. 26. 29 points of damage as just darts. Magical darts. Now, what can she do? Can she do anything as a bonus action? Okay, she's not stupid. She's far away from stupid, in point of fact. She's going to Misty Step herself over there. If it wants her, it's going to have to move. Top of the round, Ketty.
Kitty takes out the revolver.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, no.
No dice. And that's it.
Okay. Suyin.
I am going to continue taking advantage of the fact that there's 2 of us next to it, and going to keep trying to shiv it.
Roll damage.
7. And sneak attack again. Not
Damn!
much this time, but still, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes up for all the 6s previously.
Welcome to why Vax just had a absolutely hideous damage output.
Yeah. Second attack.
And Bonk!
Ooh, roll damage.
I am making this thing regret.
Yep, pretty much. Any bonus actions?
I don't think I have anything worth doing because I want it to stay right where it is.
Okay.
And language understandings or not, it wouldn't listen to me. It would just telepathy, and then it would poke my brain.
Yeah, you probably don't want it doing that. To be fair, Suyin doesn't even know it can do that. Okay. Given that she's now over there, and you're poking it, it's about done with you. Misses. Ooh, that one's gonna hit. So that's 11 points of slashing damage. And
Okay.
oh, for fuck's sake.
If the tail hits, I'm going to uncanny again.
Yeah, the tail actually hit with a nat 20, so
Normal damage rolls instead of doubled.
and 8, 9 plus 10, 12. Three. And make me a Constitution save.
Ten.
Yeah, you are poisoned for another round. And this time you don't have it being banished to recover. So your next is you, even if it doesn't move, which it doesn't seem like it's going to. And yeah, that was a total of 25 points of combination piercing, slashing, and poison damage.
Ow. I'm still up, though.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot to have you less than up. Rafe!
Okay. I am... Okay, I'm not doing that. I was going to do that. Decided against it. Okay, so... Unarmed strike. Again. I had to scroll up to get to it. 19. I'm going to use that inspiration die. What is that?
At his level, it's 1d.
Is it
1d10, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
1d10 at level 10.
Yeah, I wrote it down. It's 1d10.
That's 20.
And it just hits roll damage.
Okay. 5.
Okay.
And then with the short sword, spending the key point to make it a Kensei shot if it hits. Nope.
Yep.
And then I'll, in that case, I'll spend it on the flurry of blows to try a couple of extra unarmed strikes. 20.
Roll damage.
7.
Okay.
And whiff.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I need to check. So that's this one's gonna be fun. Since a lot of her bullshit is a little less than damaging, there's she wants to save some spell energy at this stage. So that's Okay, so... Okay, nice. So that's... Where's my D10s? Yeah, at which point you largely get still slowly patching herself together, Kim raising a hand, murmuring a few words, and fire shoots from her hand onto this thing, and it's not happy. It's still up, but you guys are doing some oh, actually, no. It's actually not doing anything because this thing is immune to fire damage. She looks at it and looks at it, nothing happens, and she just, again, starts swearing in Korean.
Devil probably laughing at her.
Pretty much. Ketty.
Shoots the revolver.
Nope. This thing is too well armored, is the problem, apparently.
And that's it.
Okay, Suyin.
Seems you have to be up close to find the squishy parts. 26.
Roll damage.
And... bonk!
Ow. Okay.
And the other attack... I'm apparently really making this thing have a bad time.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Just snapping any bits of bone armor I can off this thing. It's like, you're not allowed to have this anymore, or this part.
And actually, how do you want to do this?
I'm going to, if I can manage, find the point where its neck and head meet the rest of it, get the sword in there, and just kind of pry until something pops off. Either completely detaching the head or causing it to just snap round and flop over.
You managed to decapitate this thing, covering yourself and Rafe in some of the worst smelling blood you have ever encountered in your entire fucking life.
I'm just, first chance I get after this, I'm going coast the Indian Ocean and skinny dipping for 3 days.
There's quiet murmurings, and you're starting to clean off prestidigitation from stitching herself back together, Kim.
Smells worse than that. Smells worse than a 4-day dead polar bear.
I'll get to you in a minute. There's more of you to do, and I'd like to have less of me hanging off.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I can deal with it. And kind of steps away a little bit. Just kind of tries to slip off what he can. Just sort of into the woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Very,
yourself,
very,
Kim,
very.
we've had 1 or 2 or 3 sewers snuck through.
This, I think, is worse than sewers.
Oh, of course, but Rafe will be all right.
Yes, but Suyin won't stop complaining, until she's clean.
Touché.
While the prestidigitation is happening, I've shoved the sword into the ground to get as much of the gunk off of it as possible, pulled it back out with the prestidigitation.
And the prestidigitation starts covering the sword as well.
And best not to be, we're trying not to be downwind or upwind. Out of character, I forget which word it would be in that case.
And to be fair, so would Rafe, so it doesn't really matter. Look at it this way. If you can't think of the word, neither can he.
You're probably right.
You're smarter than him.
Fair enough.
Eventually, both, she gets she heals, and you guys are cleaned up, and your various, the few wounds that the rest of you have picked up have healed up as well. Ugh. And it just does mending on her clothes as well.
That was beyond awful, and I'm going to still go over to her and give her a once-over.
I'm one of
I
you.
know. I know.
Note to self: don't hug things with pointy bits. That was not smart.
I suppose there was no way to actually know if that thing burned unless I tried it. But spell energy needs to be maintained.
Are
Just
you
in
ready to
case.
move, Kim?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine, but just where are we moving?
Oh, we have the original directions towards the Bear Spirit.
We do.
Thomas, that is certainly what Thomas Jensen is still seeking.
And we're going to have to watch out for rogue minions, I think.
Hmm.
And with luck, they'll have a harder time catching our scent without the Bone Devil to guide them.
Do we want to leave him any sort of base of operations, or do we trash this place before we go?
Oh, no. We don't trash this place.
Do you have ideas?
Pulls out a piece of chalk and starts chalking some glyphs. Very, very sort of well tucked into the paint of the doorway. If he comes in while we're if he comes in before he goes back out on his hunt, if he comes to investigate, then the place burns.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. That'd be an experience for him.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to be something permanent, but at the very least, if he comes back here, those little ones get a decent pyre, at least.
Yep.
Well, and after all is said and done, well, I guess the authorities would find it if it was still here, and they could deal with the remains. Okay, right.
I don't know that. I think you may actually have a point, although if we leave the authorities to find this place, it's going to get loud and damaging for the town. Devil worshippers among them.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
I remember the 80s. The whole panic in the U.S. over stupid.
I suppose it's others of you who are better placed to remember things that happened in Salem.
That too.
Yep.
And you would also remember a less visceral form of it in the 50s when you replaced witches with communism.
Best to let it burn.
If he doesn't come through here, then we come back and give the children a decent burial and burn the place to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if nothing else, there were a few texts that not even I was going to touch, that I'd rather not fall into anybody's hands.
Alright.
Given how much we've sort of gone out of the way at this point, I don't want to be in this vicinity if we have to stop, but I can at least, if we do have to stop for the evening, which we probably will, set us up something a little protective for the night. Because, as I say, if there's rogue things out there, best not to get caught unawares. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
meandering.
I think it's only Su Yin who doesn't need rest to as much anyway to replenish some of the energy they expend on these kinds of things.
Yeah, most of what I do, I just do.
But you still need sleep.
Yeah, otherwise I start falling over, same as any normal person.
Ugh. Well, I'll tell you this: if things had gone a little bit differently, I was considering trying to put a wall of fire between you and it, but I don't think you'd have thanked me for it. Even if the wall of fire wouldn't have been burning you, and it's just as well I didn't, because it wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, thankfully there were enough joints to be recognized to be getting on with, so it went to pieces pretty efficiently.
Eventually,
Yeah.
I think I helped a bit though.
Oh yeah.
Some of those are interesting.
Most certainly.
And at least like I just wish that whatever this Jensen has become now wasn't powerful enough to make sure it came back after a banishing. Because I've read that that's not easy to do if something's not originally from here.
He's
Yeah.
gathered quite a bit of something to himself.
So either he was very powerful to keep it here, or convinced it wanted to be here. I don't know how that works, but
It's more of a natural law thing. It's
a lesson for another day.
Yeah, she tried to explain the whole situation where things just want to be in the place where they belong, as they walk, for the probably for the remainder of the day. They've spent an awful lot of day on this, what with one thing and another, and it's been a pretty hectic day, what with some of the things they tripped over, some of the yelling and screaming that they got up to, and the fight. And given that we're not very far off that time, I guess we'll have to extend this to at least one more session. As these guys tuck themselves under the under her sort of private sanctum. She just sort of sets up and lets you guys sort of tuck in. Lights a little bonfire, and for Rafe it's great because it's just roasted hot dogs and marshmallows.
Are we doing the full long rest?
Yeah. By the time they actually stop, it's quite late. But they're having to move slowly and a bit carefully, and keeping an eye out on, in case of things. But yes, by the time next session starts, you will have all your spell slots, key points, etc. back. But at the end of the day, it's listening as carefully as possible, but also roasting hot dogs, and Kim bringing out fixings for s'mores, because Rafe. Usually it's just Rafe. And a decent teapot for a tea kettle for Suyin's lapsang. So
the tea that got burninated just a little bit.
Well, it's one of those situations where Kim can't carry that much, but she's carried the important things. Or arranged for Rafe to do so, And on that note, we will leave it there, and I'll see y'all next week for quite possibly the culmination of this, because if I'm honest with myself, I want to get us back to Deadlands, because I have thoughts.
You have angst fuel to generate, and clearly everything, and clearly you've developed a few more ideas between things that have been obtained in DMG and now new books.
More, it's not so much specifics that I want to throw at you. It's that as I was explaining to Noms a while back, my main thing for how I generate ideas is that in the confines of my own head, I whap them around like I whap ideas around like a squash ball for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, there they are, fully formed. And I've been thinking on that, and the various themes that I was looking for, and to be fair, at least part of what I think I may have settled on is partially your own fucking fault.
It's the result of something creepifying that you wrote in it. Watch the power of angst fuel.
You give me ammunition.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking use it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can imagine, I'm kind of looking forward to generating the build up on that one, just on the basis that I think it's that you're more tuned into your characters on that one. So while this is fun for little stopgaps, I have a feeling that Deadlands and Dishonored are going to be our go-tos for episodic, but I still have other ideas I want to play with. They're not all going to be as big winners as Deadlands turned into, but it's always fun to give it something new a try.
Yep.
But for now, we're at least going to see through to the end of this chapter, and I will see y'all next week.
Mm-hmm.